Hello everybody, welcome to America's National Park of Speed. We're just outside Elkhart Lake. This is Road America. John Hindhaugh and Jeremy Shaw in the Global Broadcast Centre. You know, there's nothing better than a big race day morning when the silence is cracked by flat six racing engines. Oh, gotta love those Porsche motors in the morning. Second race of the weekend for the Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Visit Cayman Islands, and yesterday was an absolute cracker. We'll bring you up to date with all of that. This circuit echoing the road racing heritage around this part of Wisconsin, just north of Milwaukee. The road racing was literally on the public roads in the 1950s, and the circuit at just over 4 miles around with 14 corners was designed and built to echo the kind of geography that those early pioneers of road racing had before the road racing had to stop for safety reasons. It's a big challenge for the teams and for the drivers. Yesterday then, our first race saw a wonderful competition with the young Chargers, the new generation at the front of the field, led by the number 3 white and green car of Kai van Berlo from the Netherlands. From pole position, grid set on championship positions as we had no qualifying session. Dylan Murray finding the gravel at the carousel early, then a big incident for Jet Maishrak, who went hard into the wall, and that number 29 Rain Pure Mountain spring water car needed to be recovered. That brought out our first full course yellow. No one could put any kind of move on Van Berlo in the Kelly Moss Road and race car, and having a similarly good run in the Pro-Am 992 category was Alan Metney, and he won relatively easy. Matt Holcomb ran away in 991, the older car class, and Van Berlo came through to take the overall victory yesterday. And well deserved it was as well. Jeremy Shaw, that young man has a future ahead of him, Kai van Berlo, and he will lead the field around again today.
Indeed he will. What a start. Just 20 years of age. He's now won 4 races in a row and taking control of this championship for Kelly Moss Road and Races, now 21 points clear of his teammate Sebastian Priaulx.
And the grid lines up like this, Jeremy.
29 cars are expected today. Unfortunately, Jeff Maishrak's Goldcrest car are unrepairable after yesterday. 2 cars at the back of the grid. Number 68, Chris Belomo, and number 95, Colin Flynn, both DQ'd or put to the back after yesterday's race, are found to be too low, the ride height, after the race yesterday. So they will start at the back of the field. In the 27th position, number 97 is Craig Conway. Row 13, Kurt Hunt in car number 24, Tom Balamis in car number 59. The front row in the 991 car category, number 55, Matt Holcomb, the winner yesterday, but on the pole position by 0.049 of a second. Also for Goldcrest Motorsports in car number 21 is a veteran, Grady Willingham. On to the Pro-Am category. Number 10 is Vernon McClure alongside number 42, Bill Smith. Row 10 of the grid, Tom Collingwood, car number 69, alongside Tim Pappas in car number 54. Row 9, John Goetz in car number 57, alongside Kurt Swearingen in car number 17. 16th position on the grid, Dylan Murray, who had a spin yesterday in car number 38, alongside Efren Castro, second in Pro-Am in car number 65. Row 7, 2 Pro cars, Sebastian Carrazzo in car number 27, and car number 16, Jimmy Libre from Dominica, making a very good debut yesterday. On the pole position for the Pro-Am category is the points leader, car number 99, Alan Metney, in the iFly Kelly Moss Road and Race entry. 11th on the grid, Ryan Gates in car number 11. Row 5, Hutton McKenna in car number 88, alongside TJ Fisher in car number 58. Row 4, Sean McAllister, car number 2, and Eric Johansson in car number 14. Lee Keane will start number 12 in the 6th position, alongside Maxwell Root in car number 7. Row 2, Seb Priaulx in car number 15, alongside Riley Dickinson in car number 53. The front row row. Parker Thompson in caliber 9 for JDX Racing, and the pole sitter again the grid was set by the fastest laps in race 1 because qualifying was cancelled. The points leader, number 3 for Kelly Moss Road and Race from Netherlands, is Kai van Berlo.
On the starter stand is the new president and CEO of Porsche North America, Volker Holzmeier, taking over on the 1st of January from Dr. Daniel Armbruster, who has been so instrumental, Dr. Armbruster, in bringing this Carrera Cup North America. There's a period of handover going on. How very Porsche is that? And if you remember back, we first saw Dr. Armbruster doing exactly the same task as Volker Holzmeier is going to do in the next couple of moments. We wish Dr. Armbruster very well as we go green, and Volker Holzmeier waves the green flag, and we are racing. A nice clean start from the front row. Better than that, it's 3 wide down towards turn 1 as the 53 of Riley Dickinson has a little tap on the pole sitter but goes through, and the Porsche Austin supported car leads for a fraction of a second. It's still 3 wide going down the hill, and through goes Parker Thompson. We've had 3 leaders and we're not even at turn 3 yet. Big slide in the middle of the field from one of the 991 Cup cars. That's the 27 machine that was way off the circuit and has to come back on from a very wet, grassy moment there. Very lucky indeed to get away with that one. But at the front of the field, Kai van Berlo, who wasn't challenged yesterday, has already had 2 side-by-side incidents and connections with the drivers around him, and he's going to drop back to 3rd position there after another hip and thigh on the hip and shoulder on the red and white car of Parker Thompson, who now leads. He has managed to get away and, well, form himself into a little bit of a lead, maybe a car and a half's length. That was feisty at the start of the race, Jeremy Shaw.
Wasn't it just tremendous action there? 3 wide on 3 or 4 different parts of the racetrack, but both the Parker Thompson and Kai van Berlo outbreak themselves into turn 5. Both ran a little bit wide, but it's Parker Thompson that leads for JDX Racing, and Riley Dickinson, a really forceful start for a second row. Brilliant effort by him to go 3 wide in that first corner, and he is now up into 2nd place ahead of Kai van Berlo. I think that is Efren Castro's car?
It is one of the 992s. Yeah, it's got damage on the back. It's been hit up the back, that, Jeremy. That car. The start under the green flag, waved by Volker Holzmeier, who'll be the new boss of Porsche here in North America, was very, very aggressive with Riley Dickinson in the who came from the 2nd row, initially getting the lead in the Porsche Works coloured car. Then Parker Thompson behind. It was one of the 311 RS cars getting into the side of the one of the leading. That's a 991 Cup car there.
That's Lee Keen. Different colours on the car this weekend.
Oh, really? Okay, right. Okay, wasn't Lee normally runs a red? No, Lee Keen's in the 12 car. Yeah.
That was that number 12? I think it was number 12, was it?
No, I don't think
it wasn't.
So.
I beg your pardon. Okay, sorry.
The car it was the 2nd of the 311 cars, so that must have been the Gates car, Ryan Gates car. But I have to say, I still didn't recognise the colour scheme on the 991. I think it was the 97, the Irish Mike's racing car that dropped to the back. I thought it was. I thought I saw a 7 on the side of that car, but it hasn't moved.
Oh, 27 there, Sebastian Carrazzo.
It was Carrazzo. I said
okay,
27
fine.
in the first place, and then I should have just gone with that. Shouldn't second guess myself. My apologies there. Yes, Carrazzo. Well, that's interesting because that's one of the 992s, and yeah, that's the car that has pulled up, Jeremy. That's the one that's pulled up at the side of the road. You're absolutely right with the damage to the rear of that car. Yeah. But is that the one that...
Yes,
was that the one that was off on the grass then, on the right-hand side?
Yeah, pretty sure it was.
Right,
that was a massive moment. They did a great job to keep it sort of on the island, and everybody else did a great job also of making sure they didn't collect that car as they came back across the road, kind of at the apex of turn 3, so that could have been absolute carnage, and it was a great save by Sebastian Carrazzo not to collect anybody else or do further damage to that car.
Yeah, Sebastian has been a staple of this of this series for quite some time, and he'll be disappointed that this race has ended so early, embroiled in the midfield battle. But as you said, Jeremy, that could have been a lot worse than it was. He's under tow now. As you say, he just about kept it on the island and certainly stopped it from ricocheting into the mid-pack, which would have been carnage. Kept it on the Cayman Island, I suppose we might say, given our presenting sponsor. Not forgetting, of course, that there are some all-expenses-paid trips to that part of the world. Beautiful holiday destination at the Cayman Islands for the class winners at the end of this season. So lots to play for in terms of the championship. All kinds of inducements from Porsche, including the use of a Porsche Junior Championship as well, which means that all of the youngsters automatically are, well, effectively becomes Porsche Carrera Cup North America Junior class, and they could well be heading to Europe for the worldwide shootout. And we've seen a lot of talent down through the years, Jeremy, come from that and carve very good careers out of sports car racing with the help of Porsche support.
Absolutely, and that's a huge carrot for all of these young drivers in this series. That's where this series is distinguishable from the GT3 Cup series that ran for so many years so successfully in North America. Pro drivers were not allowed to enter that series, but now they're very much encouraged to be part of the Porsche Carrera Cup North America. That's what the Carrera Cup is all about, is professional drivers, and what a field we've got right now. It looks like we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing with Parker Thompson at the head of the field.
Stand by, everybody. Seconds out, round two, ding ding. This time we are in single file restart, and Parker Thompson goes nice and early as he crests the rise, and this time he's got a bit of a run across the top, and Riley Dickinson not able to get the run down the inside. Kai van Berlo in third. First time he's looked at the back of cars all weekend. Nobody even got as much as close to his 3 3/4 panel. Weaving around in the background, Maxwell Root in the number 7, which is the black and teal blue car. He's in behind championship contender Sebastian Priaulx, who is the teammate of Riley Dickinson. Came into this weekend second in the championship standings, did the young Channel Islander. Already done some sports car racing, backed by Multimatic, and has raced in IMSA competition in the past, but really concentrating this year on just this series, trying to make his way. Third generation of Priaulx in motorsport. Andy Priaulx, he'd be best known to some of our viewers and listeners. Very successful driver, having started as Seb's grandfather did in hill climb back in the UK. Went from one of the shorter forms of motorsport, Andy, up to the 24 Hours of Le Mans, of course, one of the longest races that you could possibly do. And that's Priaulx in 5th position at the moment. Sebastian spacing out nicely as they go through, and for a moment at least Parker Thompson is controlling. Top 3 are all junior drivers. Lee Keane in the bright red 311 RS number 12 car is the interloper there. He's the voice of experience, Jeremy, in there. Not one of the guys young enough to be in the junior category, but very much lots of experience in all kinds of racing, and trying to make his mark here as well as a pro driver.
Yeah, very much so. As you say, huge amount of experience. He was the champion in the Grand Am GT series for 2 years, in 2009, 2011. He was second in the ALMS GTC category back in 2012. He's been out of racing for quite a long time, but still doing some driver coaching. He's hooked up here with Ryan Greats and the 311 RS Motorsport team. Absolutely loving it this year. He's really having a blast out there, loving these new cars and using all of his experience. He's had a couple of podium finishes already this season. That's Lee Keane in car number 12, currently running in the 4th position.
In 10th at the moment, the almost all silver car with the black iFly branding on the side is Alan Metney. from IFI, Kelly Moss Motorsport, won yesterday in the Pro-Am. Not exactly at a canter, but certainly didn't have too much competition, and he's already got a couple or three of the pro drivers behind him. Now, the cars in 992 Pro and Pro-Am are identical. It is the driver categorisation that puts them in different classes. So you'll notice that he has got the blue Cayman Islands sun visor on the car, and the blue mirrors and the blue wing end plates, and that is what sets him apart and the other cars in that class apart from the pro cars. Also got a little bit of blue in the LEDs in the headlights as well. See, they're trying to make it as easy as they can for us old commentators, so you can even see from the headlight strips that those blue colours there means that that's a car. Oh, there's Hutton McKenna off at the kink, drifted a little bit wide, got onto the very wet grass and mud. He's had one spin, he's had two spin, he's gone right back across the track both ways, all the way from left to right, then back from right to left. My goodness me, the number 88 car is, I think, undamaged, certainly from any of the cars coming through. There's a bit of a rub on the left-hand side where I think he originally glanced, and it was just a glancing blow on the concrete wall. Get a lottery ticket on. My goodness me, that was luck. He's had all of his season's luck there. I don't think so, because he's, I think, stalled the car, and it's not going anywhere at the moment. We're still green. But Jeremy Shaw, that again could have been a huge incident at one of the fastest parts of the racetrack.
I think he's still counting his lucky stars. That was incredible to get away with that when he just ran a little bit wide on the entrance to that corner. It's really, a little bit of dampness down there. And, we only had one lap of green flag racing, so the tyres are not ultimately up to optimum working temperatures at the moment. But that was a massive spinner. What a great job those guys did to avoid him. Right behind there, I think right behind him initially was Dylan Murray, then I think it was Tom Collingwood right behind him, perhaps. And
Kurt Swearingen.
That was super close. Yeah, Kurt Swearingen as well, you're right.
I've got to tell you, Kurt Swearingen will have seen all his memories going past him there. There wasn't really much he could do but just point the car and hope that that 88 McKenna Porsche classic colours they are. We've seen that down through the years in IMSA competition, and great to see the McKenna name back. And that was such a violent incident. It has triggered the four-way flashes on that car. He's just turned them off now, I noticed. That is part of the safety equipment on the 992 Carrera Cup car. Brand new body shell, a whole new car for 2021, and the Porsche Cayman, the Cayman Islands Porsche Carrera Cup for 2021. One of only 5 Carrera Cups across the world to have the new shape car. Super Cup, of course, that travels around with Formula One. This Carrera Cup North America, the German Carrera Cup, which is often seen as right alongside the Super Cup, and in fact a lot of the Super Cup drivers do that, and the Carrera Cup Deutschland as it's known. And the Benelux, the Low Country Series as well, have the new cars, and Porsche Carrera Cup Asia as well, which is on a sabbatical at the moment. A lot of sport in China shut down for a while, but coming back next month, actually no, end of this month, I believe, for that. I'll have to check my diary about that, because I actually do the comms on that as well. It's particularly competitive over there in Asia, mostly based in China. The cracking races earlier on this year in Shanghai. So those are the 5 that are using the brand new car. It's lower, longer, wider, some would say a bit meaner. It, of all the things that are different, retains the venerable flat 6 engine, still the 4-litre motor, now just over 500 horsepower. I think it's rated somewhere near 507, 510 horsepower, which I would say, Jeremy, is adequate on a car, even on a racing car. Anything with 5 in front of it and 2 numbers behind it, I'd say that was adequate for a racing car.
Yeah, it certainly give you plenty to think about when you're driving the thing, that's for sure.
Give Hutton McKenna plenty to think about that, didn't it?
Oh, man. Oh, that was incredible to get away with that one. Looks like, is he going to drive it away from there? I think he is. I'm not sure He's got towed out. Not sure. I don't think he was stuck in the. He could have been just stuck in the grass.
Maybe he couldn't find reverse.
Wet grass. Actually, well, that too. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a slight rub on the left-hand rear with the tyre barrier that just straightened him up. And then the tyre barrier ended, and then there was a rub down the concrete, and you can just see the concrete as well. But the safer barrier did its job, and then there's another little rub about 10 yards maybe further down driver's left after the kink. But he's finished up 100 metres down, 100 yards down the road. He has got it refired, and he is running again. Now we'll just be feeling that out to make sure that the rear tracking is running okay. Very sophisticated
That's
cars.
Incredible.
Well, like I said, put the lottery ticket on when he gets back to California, because that was unbelievable. He's actually white-walled the left rear Michelin tyre on the concrete and the safer barrier. That is extraordinary. Bit of damage on the front, but not much. Left rear wheel arch, but it's literally scuffed the vinyl, and that's about it. I've never seen such a violent accident at the Kink that hasn't resulted in a car being reduced to its component parts, Jeremy. He is coming into the pit lane, I think very wisely. I mean, that is quick through there. Got the turning wrong, just clicked the safer barrier, left front and left rear into the unguarded concrete. 1, 2, 2.5 in the pike position, and finishes to drive us right on the other side of the track.
Yeah, that is absolutely unbelievable to get away with that one. It might be called the Kink, but let me tell you, it's not. It's a corner.
You're right.
And that's what you want. I mean, it's a signature corner here, of course, at Road America. One of the signature corners here is at Road America. And these days, you can actually get down there to just past the Kink between the Kink and the Canada corner. There's a relatively new access way that's been built there, and there's some spectacular viewing. But I tell you what, it's not for the faint of heart to be watching at that point, that part of the racetrack.
Yeah, and
watching at that part of the racetrack, let alone driving it.
You can get a golf cart down there now.
Yeah.
That used to be. You used to have to trek down there, down from the karting at the top of the hill and get down to there. You could. There was a couple of little rugged pathways, but plenty of spectators down there to drive us right at that area. It's very popular. You can park a cart up there. And the other thing is, if you're a keen photographer, it's above the height of the catch fencing as well, so you actually get a really good view down on the cars through there. But as Jeremy says, it's blinking quick down there for everything. And a decent crowd again this Sunday. Thank you for turning out to be with us, listening in around the track on 87.9 FM, scanner frequency 454. Under half an hour to go, coming down to 27 minutes when we go back green for the second race of the weekend of Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Visit Cayman Islands. The Porsche 911 Turbo has headed back to the pit lane, and once again Parker Thompson is in control of the field. Those that remain climb the hill to the green flag once again. It'll be almost spot on, 27 minutes, and here comes Riley Dickinson. He likes that inside line, but that was blocked off, goes to driver's left. He's got the overlap, he's to the left-hand door, he's alongside, he's nosed ahead, but he's on the wrong side of the right-hander in turn one, and he'll go wide here, and he goes off there. And here's Van Berlo, he's taking his chance in the blue and green. Kelly Moss Racing, number 3 Porsche, diving down the inside and reclaims second position. Link Heath wants a bit of this as well and sticks his nose in at turn 3. Sebastian Priaulx in 5th position. For a moment, just a watching brief there. Maxwell Root in the black and teal car, right in there as well. The top 10 absolutely together, and in 10th position is that almost all silver car of the number 99 of Alan Metney, who leads the Pro-Am. It's Grady Willingham who, in the Gold Crest number 21, leads the 991 category. But all of the action, Jeremy Shaw at the front of the field. We saw a little bit of self-preservation, I think, yesterday, but not today. And at turn number 6, another car off, and that was Riley Dickinson taking the scenic route. I've seen Porsche in rallycross before, but I'm not sure that that's what these cars were set up for today.
No, two mistakes there from Riley Dickinson. Just got a bit too greedy, I'm afraid. Going into turn one, yes, he had a run on Parker Thompson, but Parker took the inside line there. And Riley Dickinson, at that point, in my opinion, should have tucked in behind him and followed him through. Because when you go side by side through turn one, you're going to lose momentum. And that's exactly what Kai van Berlo needed, able to take advantage, get down the inside going into turn three. It was interesting on the previous restart, Kai, having been super aggressive on the first lap of the race, having been shuffled away from pole position, was pretty conservative. This time around, he sat back and that second position came to him. So now he's going to put the pressure on Parker Thompson. But really interesting, and for Riley Dickinson, all that good work has now been thrown away. He's right down towards the bottom end of the top 10.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to fight back. These cars are so evenly matched, as you would imagine. Of course, they are all the same cars as we're explaining at the front of the field. There are, in the 991 class, the 991 generation of Gen 2 cars, the previous top class, before we got these brand new cars for this year. It's a big step up in performance and pace. Alan Metni not defending too hard there as the 65 goes through and goes off. That's Efren Castro for Team Hardpoint, and he's gone in the gravel. Don't spin the wheels up, Efren. You might get out of that. Don't spin the wheels up, I said. Get the revs down. Change to second. Get the lock off. That's it. He's got out. Well done. We stay green. Castro not really battling with that iFly silver car, Jeremy, in terms of class position, but he could see his class mates and class competitors getting away ahead of him. That bright green car ahead of Dylan Murray and BGB, that was what he was aiming for there, but that was way too quick into turn one from Efren.
Yeah, no, he was overtaking Alan Metni there. That was for the class lead in Pro-Am going into turn one.
Sorry, my
just
apologies,
got a bit too, just carried too much speed into the corner and straight across the bows of Alan Metni, he goes into the gravel trap. So once again, drivers here, some of the young, well, he's not a younger driver, but that was just a bit too greedy there, early stage of this race. But of course, as you were just saying, it's very difficult to overtake in these very closely matched cars. So any opportunity you have, you're going to try and take. Unless you have the patience, like Kai van Berlo showed on this most recent restart, he was able to take advantage of other drivers' mistakes, and that's really the best way to make a position at this stage in the race. So a mistake there for Efren Castro. He wants that win. He's already had one class win in the Pro-Am category this year, but Alan Metni has won all of the other 6 races, has a handy lead. So Castro really needed those points. He was going for it. It didn't quite pay off, but it's going to be Alan Metni then once again in the lead of the Pro-Am category now, with a handy margin over Kurt Swearingen in second place, and John Goetz, who's done another really good job today for Wright Motorsports, in the 3rd position ahead of Tim Pappas and Tom Collingwood. But tell you what, the whole field is still staying pretty closely together.
Yeah, agree with that, Jeremy. Also fighting through there, that is the Collingwood BGB, the 69 car with the green on it as well, sitting right in behind Tim Pappas. There's another name from IMSA Racing that has got a big history, and with Porsches as well. Collingwood goes down the inside, sends it in to turn one. 991 class not too far behind. There's a bit of a performance difference, but the white and dark blue or navy and black car with the stripes across the roof, that is the leader down to turn 3 now. The Mystery Machine coloured car almost looks like the Porsche Hippie car, but it is the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine on the side of that car in second. That's Matt Holcomb from Goldcrest Motorsports. Kurt Hunt from ACI Motorsport in the number 24 sits in behind them. Those are the top 3 in the older cars. They're competing this year, and that has been, those cars have been good servants of Porsche GT3 Cup racing here in IMSA, and they're given their last hurrah this year. Talked about Dr. Daniel Ambruster earlier on, who is leaving Porsche here in North America at the end of the year to be replaced by Volker Holzmeier, who waved the green flag earlier on. Well, somehow Dr. Ambruster managed to get more than 20 992 Cup cars. We were expecting 15 or 16. He did rather better than that. They were all pre-sold, I should hasten to add, and that's why we have such a competitive field at the front. So really We have a lot to thank Dr. Ambrose Dufour for this series and how he managed to get it upgraded to a Carrera Cup and then get all the 992 category cars into it as well. It'll be all 992 next year is what Porsche Motorsport North America are telling us. So even more of the 992 category cars for 2022. A series that will look pretty similar with the 16 rounds. There are going to be a couple of 3 race weekends for Porsche Carrera Cup North America this year because of the way the calendar has had to move around given the current circumstances. They lost a couple of events, notably IndyCar up in Canada, and so those races have been rescheduled. There is a celebration of Porsche Together it's called, at Indianapolis in September, and there'll be a triple round there and 3 races at the season-ending Petit Le Mans at Michelin Raceway Road America to ensure that the 16 races that everyone signed up for actually do take place. Well done to IMSA and everybody concerned for scheduling those extra races. So the championship with 3 races on Petit Le Mans weekend. Well, we've seen it plenty of times in the past, Jeremy, when we've been doing arithmetic on the fly in all 3 classes to try and work out who's winning a race, and a position made or lost here and there. Championships have swung on that in last races in Petit Le Mans in the past. I wouldn't put money on that happening again, to be honest.
No, although over the course of the last few races, each of the championship leaders have certainly asserted their superiority. Kai van Berlo pulled out to a 21-point lead as a result of that win yesterday. He's 4th in a row, 5th on the season, plus he gets another 5 points from the pole position for today as well. But he's running in 2nd place at the moment. In the Pro-Am category, Alan Metni comes into this weekend with a 38-point lead, so a pretty handy margin over Efren Castro. And in Pro-Am, in the Gold Cup, the 991 category, a 28-point lead for Matt Holcomb over Jeff Myshak, but Myshak not able to start today as a result of that incident yesterday. So each of the classes now, they're getting a little bit more strung out than would be the norm in this category.
Yeah, and I managed to move Michelin Raceway from Georgia to here in Wisconsin. There it is at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. We're at Road America this weekend. My apologies to that. Very similar atmosphere and character of circuits though, with the natural terrain road tracks, and both great venues for road racing. We are so very fortunate, aren't we, in IMSA Racing, to have these cracking circuits to go racing on, all of which really test the mettle of the drivers and the engineers as well. 18 minutes to go, and it's still a decent lead. 2 seconds, I'm calling that, for JDX Racing's Parker Thompson in the mainly red number 992 Porsche Carrera Cup car, with Kai van Berlo leading a 2-3 for Kelly Moss Road and Races. Sebastian Priaulx is up into 3rd position after that mistake that we saw early on for Dickinson, from Riley Dickinson in the number 53. And that's good extra points for Seb Priaulx. He'll be delighted with that, but he's 3 seconds behind his teammate. He will not like quite so much.
Well, no, Priaulx, he's closing in actually on Kai van Berlo now, because he got past Lee Keen for that 3rd position a couple of laps ago, and the last couple of laps he's been just a little bit quicker than Kai van Berlo, half a second quicker actually on the last lap. So potentially a battle brewing there for 2nd and 3rd. Parker Thompson extended his lead to almost 2 seconds on that last lap, doing a really nice job coming into Canada corner, the Canadian driver. And Kai van Berlo, he's worked hard, I think, on this lap to try and extend his advantage over Seb Priaulx. Looks to have extended that margin just a little bit on this 11th lap around. We've got just 16.5 minutes remaining in this 45-minute race.
A little bit of evidence of the bumping and barging early on the left-hand side of Kai van Berlo's normally immaculate Kelly Moss Road and Race number 3, the white and green car, just carrying a little bit of the Wisconsin scenery with it. It is very wet on the track. Friday and again on Saturday there was an awful lot of precipitation. We had hailstones on Friday, and it was particularly nasty, and the area around the edges of the racetrack still very, very wet indeed. Kurt Swearingen in the Pro-Am category, holding on to second position, just ahead of John Coetzee in the Wright Motorsports number 57, sitting in behind with those blue wing mirrors, wing end plates, or door mirrors should I say, wing end plates, and the blue light fixtures. So when they're coming towards you, and actually also the driver's been telling me that you can actually see that in your mirrors, so you know if it's one of your class competitors, if you can see those blue headlamp markings, the LED marker lights. Porsche do really think of everything, and it's red of course for the 991 class, the older category cars, still being led by Grady Willingham for Goldcrest, Kurt Hunt in second, Matt Holcomb in third. That's another Goldcrest car, 21, 24 and 55. Chris Bellomo, Flying Lizards car, got on the podium at the end of the race yesterday, but failed post-race tech for ride height. Darren Law, Flying Lizards, back in the IMSA paddock after a far too long away, Darren. Nice to have you back. They really get motor racing, and great to see the Lizards crest, the Lizard shield on the bonnet of that white Tangerine car, sitting at the moment in fourth position for Chris Bellomo.
Yeah, very much so, and a really good run yesterday. Unfortunately, failed post-race technical inspection. The car was just found to be too low. The ride height a little bit too low. There is a minimum ride height required for these cars, both 991s and 992s, and they're a little bit underneath that, so the car was put to the back. And he's up to fourth place now in the categories, Chris Bellomo, for that Flying Lizard team, and he's actually closed up onto the tail now of that battle for the lead. Effectively, we've got coming into Canada Corner, it's Grady Willingham who still leads, just I think over Kurt Hunt, with Matt Holcomb and Chris Bellomo now joining that battle.
Jeremy Shaw, John Hindhaugh, and the last 14 minutes of the second race of the weekend for Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Visit Cayman Islands here at Road America. Cracking races all the way through the field, not least in the 991 Cup class, which is at the moment being disputed by the 21, 24, 55 and 68, that of Grady Willingham, Kurt Hunt, Matt Holcomb and Chris Bellomo, as they come down into turn number one. And Chris is getting there. It's going to be a four-way scrap. It is a four-way scrap now, as Holcomb pulls out, relegated into third a couple of laps ago by Kurt Hunt for ACI. He is the meat in the bread of the Goldcrest cars around him, so he's the filling in the sandwich at the moment. I'm not sure what that makes the Flying Lizard car. Is that the relish that goes on the side? Sitting at the back of that at the moment, down to turn 5. Change of surface there, making the downhill braking area even trickier than ever. Lovely driving by these guys. A lot of respect being shown. They are on the ragged edge, pushing very hard indeed. Grady Willingham doing a cracking job there, Jeremy, because he's been under pressure literally since we went back to green.
Yeah, and he's not taking his defensive lines. He's been around the sport a long time, as Grady Willingham. Have a lot of experience in all sorts of different cars, driven the Rolex 24 on numerous occasions back in the quite some years ago now, and I think is truly doing a nice job this season. He's hooked up with the Goldcrest Motorsports team. He's been driving in PCA, I think, pretty regularly over the last several years, but this is a fine performance. He took the pole position as a result of setting the fastest lap yesterday by 0.06 something, or 0.59 of a second, or something ridiculously close, but he's showing that he still has the speed again today and holding on to that category lead. Really fine job.
Check back in with the leaders. What a shame. Another spin, and it's the BGB Motorsports number 69 car for Thomas Collingwood, and he's gone around at Canada Corner next to me. Yes, it is. Facing the wrong direction again with the four-way flashes. Now, did he jump or did he get a push there? He was under a wee bit of pressure, but no, he just went off himself. That was Bill Smith in the Top Racing bright orange car that was with him. Again, a little over-ambitious, and tried to take on gravity and momentum there, the laws of physics, and I think they'll bite you more times than not, Jeremy, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. You're absolutely right on that one. But yeah, nice try. And he's leaves no damage. That car is able to continue as this battle continues also in the 991 category. Now it's Chris Paloma, I think, who is ahead,
yes,
he is, of Matt Holcomb. And it's Matt Holcomb who leads the points coming into this race. He's had 4 wins on the season, including yesterday.
I think it's better of it down to turn number 5, but Chris Paloma is on a real tear again, Jeremy. Had to start from well back this morning, as after that DQ from yesterday for the tech infringement. Holcomb, as you were saying, championship leader.
Yeah, they've done a good job all season long. Started off with a 2nd place finish in the opening race, then had 3 wins in a row. He's been on the podium in every race this season, 4 wins in total. But right now he's back in the 4th position. But those 4 cars still nose to tail with just under 10 minutes remaining.
Yes, I'm not allowed to bet the house, obviously, but you wouldn't on any of these 4, because it could go either way at the moment. We keeping a weather eye on our IMSA timing screens here with our good friends from Alcamel, and Parker Thompson is still leading, and leads by what in this sort of racing is now a comfortable 2.5 seconds from Kai van Berlo, who's just got himself consolidated in 2nd position and is holding the gap to 3rd, his teammate Sebastian Priaulx, to around about 3.5 seconds. Then it's another 5 seconds further back for Lee Keane in 4th in the bright red 311 Motorsport car. And a decent little scrap going on behind them, which includes Sean McAllister, TJ Fisher, Riley Dickinson with the fastest lap of the race in Pro on his drive back. He'll be kicking himself. That Team Hardpoint car was quick today, and Riley will not be happy, sitting 3rd of the 3 that are climbing up under the Corvette bridge at the moment. And you said it, Jeremy, just got a little bit greedy too early on in the race. Last lap, if you're going for glory, different matter. But when you've still got 30-odd minutes left to go, not sure that was the smartest. Low percentage lunge and then hung out on the outside. You could almost have written the script for that, put it in an envelope and said to him, open that later if you're going to try that, because it was a bit obvious, wasn't it?
It was, unfortunately, yes.
Turn 5, and that was the battle in 991, and around has gone the number 24 of Kurt Hunt, ACI Motorsports. I think he got help from, was it Paloma, who was right up his tailpipes, but there's damage to the left side of that car as they were coming down. Oh no, he was having a go for it. Was Paloma coming from way too far back. He got on the right-hand side of the track. I thought that the 24 of Kurt Hunt was going to have some contact with Grady Willingham as he was battling for the lead, but a mistake there from Chris Paloma, and that has got suspension damage now on the ACI 24 car. So that was 2nd place Hunt, 3rd place Paloma in the Flying Lizard car. He has got the fastest lap, Paloma, in the race, but that car is not going anywhere for Kurt Hunt. Oh, what a shame there, Jeremy. That was a decent battle. It had split up into 2 pairs of cars, with Willingham and Hunt in 1st and 2nd, Paloma having a scrap with Matt Holcomb, but very, very late, too late, surely, on the brakes from Chris Paloma, and he would have run long anyway in that Flying Lizard car had he not made contact with Kurt Hunt in the 24.
Yeah, that was unfortunate there. He's carrying the sponsorship here from Shiver and Duke, which is his daughter and son. That's the name of his wife's boutique jewellery company on that car of Kurt Hunt. He won the opening race of the season. He's been a contender all the way through. He actually missed one of the rounds at Circuit Americas. Didn't make that trip, but unfortunately it's going to be an early end to his race here after a really tight battle that was going on between those two. That car, in actual fact, is the car that Parker Thompson, our current leader, used to drive in Canada for the Sports Car Boutique a few years ago. So the car actually has a little bit of history.
Yeah, well, as I said, those cars have been very good servants, and they really have. Coming down to the last 6 minutes then And the battle at the front of the field has just closed up by about a second since the last time we looked at it. It's now 2.5 seconds, still comfy for Parker Thompson, and I'm sure he's just controlling things, so we're not going to get too excited about that. Van Berlo holds on to second in the green and white number 3 car, then Sebastian Priaulx in the gold, black and blue car in third. The battle is a little bit further down for 6th, 7th and 8th. Sean McAllister, TJ Fisher and Riley Dickinson still locked together, having a decent scrap for JDX Top and Team Hardpoint. As I said, they're battling for the final top 6 position. Thompson goes through to complete another lap, and just over 5 minutes to go. Top 5 fairly equidistant here. Max Root sitting in a 5th position, hasn't been able to close down on Lee Keane, who hasn't been able to close down on Seb Priaulx. But then that battle coming through, and then behind them another decent scrap with Dylan Murray staring at the back of the MRS GT racing car, the number 16, and that is the JJ Libra car.
Yeah,
Jeremy Libra from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. He's having a good run, Jeremy, in that 16.
Yeah, really impressive for young Jimmy Libra. He's just 20 years of age.
Sorry, Jimmy.
I think he spends much of his time in Europe these days. He's, as you say, from Dominican Republic, and carrying those colours very proud. He's done a fair bit of go-kart racing. He's done some SCCA over here in North America, and a pretty accomplished sim racer as well. Doing a good job on track here. To be running in the top 10 in your first race at this level is very, very impressive. And particularly to be holding off someone like Dylan Murray, who is definitely a rising star in this sport, says a lot for Jimmy. And good to see that MRS GT Racing has that second car here this weekend. As I say, it's been driven very, very nicely indeed.
Yeah, Ryan Gates, 311 RS Motorsport just in the background in the right car as well. So those 3 battling just at the outskirts of the top 10. That's 9th, 10th and 11th. 3.5 minutes to go. How's that gap at the front of the lead, at the front of the field? That leading gap just coming down a little bit again, getting closer to 2 seconds than it was to 2.5. But surely this isn't a problem now for Parker Thompson, as Kai Van Berlo putting in some decent laps. Took a 10th or a 10th and a half here, a couple of 10ths there. Sebastian Priaulx only a couple of seconds further back. Those look to be nailed on for the top 3 positions at the moment, with nearly 3 seconds further back. The first of the 311 RS Motorsport cars, and number 12, the red car of Lee Keane, in 4th position. Wow, turn 1 is so quick, isn't it? Now let's check in with the 911, the 991 Cup class, and that is Grady Willingham, who is still leading that, and he's got a decent gap. Oh no, he hasn't, because Matt Holcomb's chased him down, and that is 1st and 2nd in 991. They did have a car between them the last time they went across the start-finish line, but that's now cleared off. It was one of the 992 cars. So that is the battle for the lead in 991 together, coming through the final corner and climbing the hill, Jeremy, with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That was Efren Castro who's just ahead of them now, having worked his way past. He started from, took the restart in last position, made up 7 or 8 positions on the overall track, and that's a good battle that continues here in 991.
Huge news for this race and for the championship. Incident responsibility with an incident with Riley Dickinson, the number 53. This is a drive-through for Kai Van Berlo in 2nd position. So that incident when we saw Riley Dickinson off the track may have been precipitated by contact then. And that side-by-side incident, the responsibility has been laid squarely at the door of car number 3, and Kai Van Berlo, our championship leader, just coming through from race control. This is huge news for this race, Jeremy, and for the championship. There's no time for him to fight back. It'll be white flag this time around, and you lose a huge amount of real estate here. Going through the pit lane because it's such a long, fast straight. Now, he's got to come in this time around, and he has not. I'm just checking to make sure that I am reading this right. Yep, car free, delayed penalty, incident responsibility with 53, drive-through. Now, he hasn't taken it, so presumably, Jeremy, this will be additional time, and he will get a time penalty at the end of the race. But he's not going to stand on the podium, I wouldn't have thought. Probably not going to be in the top 6.
He's not going to be in the top 10. No question about it, and I think that was a result of the incident that happened up at turn 6 where Riley Dickinson ran off the road, and Riley was certainly pushing the envelope there, trying to make it around the outside there. It's a pretty dodgy move, but he certainly wasn't given any room on the exit of that corner, and I think that's why the stewards they've had a long, hard look at that to make sure they're making the right decision. I'm sure that the Kelly Moss Roden team will be arguing the toss on that one, trying to get it overturned. That's why he's staying out there. If he serves a penalty, he's going to be back in the top 10 for sure. If he argues it and somehow gets away with it, maybe he can maintain that position. But I think that's very unlikely, because it's race controllers literally deliberated long and hard over that, and they've come up with that decision, and he's going to have to take that penalty on the chin, I think, at the end of the race. So he might cross the line in second position, but he's going to finish there. Here's Matt Holcomb trying to make a move though into turn 1 on Grady Willingham, who's led all the way through this race, but down under pressure the entire way.
I don't know whether Matt Holcomb has just taped up his mirrors or whether he's knocked the glass out of them. Excuse me, Grady Willingham is just not looking at his mirrors at all, because he is driving impeccably. I've not seen him take a defensive line yet, Jeremy. That is tremendous confidence in your own ability, that you don't feel as though you have to compromise where you put the car on the track. Just drifted to the middle of the road going into turn 5 there, but there was no challenge from Holcomb behind him, so he was able to take the racing line. That's fine. He's supremely confident on the brakes. At the front of the field for the second race of our Road America weekend, Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Visit Cayman Islands, Parker Thompson is going to take a very comfortable victory. Over 2 seconds, closer to 3 than 2 from Kai van Berlo, who goes across the line in second, the championship leader, but with a penalty hanging over him. Sebastian Priaulx, the second of the Kelly Moss Roden race drivers, goes through in third. In the Pro-Am category, Alan Metni will hold on. He's got almost 8 seconds over John Gertz in second and Kurt Swearingen, who've had a decent battle. And it's 2 from 2 this weekend in Wisconsin for Metni in the iFly Kelly Moss number 99 silver Porsche. And in the 991 Cup class, don't write the headlines yet, Canada Corner, and the winner has not yet been decided. Grady Willingham has pretty much led this whole race. He's still holding on to the top position, but the mystery machine sitting in behind is trying to get through. Matt Holcomb for Goldcrest Motorsports, and spins right at the last corner of the last lap. He's not getting out of there, and he has thrown away second position. If it only wasn't for those pesky kids, he could have won it. Grady Willingham comes through for Goldcrest and wins. That means that Irish Mike Racing and the 95 car, I think, will come through, Jeremy, into second position for Connor Flynn, the man from Jacksonville in Florida. And who will be third then? That's going to be Tom Palamis for Kelly Moss Roden race in the 59. What a disaster! Tried to get the best entry to turn 14 he could for the run up the hill, but ran long. Maybe target fixation on the back of the leader there, Jeremy, because he was going in on the wider line and just dropped the left-hand side Michelin's onto the damp grass, and from there on he wasn't getting that car to the back to the checkered flag.
He wasn't, was he? And Grady Willingham, you talked about it, he wasn't taking any defensive lines, and I think there's confidence in his own ability, but also confidence that Kurt wasn't going to do anything silly there. He didn't. He made a mistake at the end there, but he wasn't trying to make a lunge for the lead. He just kind of, I think you say target fixation, look at the back of Grady Whittingham's car, trying to figure out how he could get a run off that final corner to get to a run towards the checkered flag. Didn't get that far, unfortunately, but a great win then for Grady Whittingham in 991. Alan Metni once again the winner in Pro-Am, and what a great effort that was by Parker Thompson. His second win of the season for the JDX Racing team, and that will move him a little bit closer in third position in the points table. It's going to be hard to figure out the points because there is that penalty hanging over Kai van Berlo. Actually shown now as finishing in the 50th position overall, so that will get him just the single point. So he's going to be that lead now is going to be just 7 points again, I think, between first and second as we head towards the next couple or next three races that will be next on the schedule. 171 to 164 unofficially. Parker Thompson will have 129 in third position.
Well, Kai van Berlo, championship leader, crosses the line in second position, and we await the news from race control. Has got 3 laps to take the penalty, and there weren't 3 laps left at the end, so that part of it is fine. So the unofficial results as they cross the line is Parker Thompson for JDX Racing wins by 4.5 seconds. And it's changed. It has changed now. So Parker Thompson wins from Sebastian Priaulx. So there has been a penalty levied on the championship leader, and he drops down to 11th in class and 15th overall. So confirmation there of what we were expecting. Let's just confirm that again. Unofficial results then. Parker Thompson wins. Sebastian Priaulx elevated to second, with Lee Keane for 311 Motorsport in third at the front of the field. Alan Metni takes Pro-Am, and in the 991 class, Grady Whittingham wins it. Incident responsibility for contact with Riley Dickinson bumps the championship leader from second, where he crossed the line, down to 15th overall and 11th in class, and that will make a big difference in the points. And Sebastian Priaulx then will close up on Kai van Berlo. Well, what a great race started by Volker Holzmeier, the incoming president and CEO of Porsche Motorsport North America. He got things underway. Hutton McKenna going for a wild ride down at the kink, and turn 5 that claimed a few casualties as well. And right at the end, off at the final corner, whilst in second place for the number 55 of Matt Holcomb. But Parker Thompson takes the second race of the weekend here in the Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by the Cayman Islands.